Alright, today we're going to be talking about David. Now, I'll be honest, before making this video, I have never even heard of this guy. I mean, I'm sure I've heard some of his music before without realizing it, but I had never heard of his name, and I've never seen his face before making this video. So from what I've learned about him while making this video, is that David used to be a Fortnite content creator, and he would upload montages of his clips. But his videos would get copyright strike because he would be using other people's music. So after talking about this with his mom, she suggested that he started making his own music for his montages.
I am a gamer. I love video games. I wanted to be a professional gamer before music. That's actually what pushed me into music, was getting copyright strikes on YouTube. And I kind of just used my own music in my montages after my mom told me to, 'cause I was crying to her about it.
And that's exactly what he decided to do. And that's exactly what started his entire music career. As he continued to make Fortnite montages, David would continue to also make music. David said in an interview with Benny Blanco that his second song he ever made was You and I, which sits right now at 173 million plays on Spotify.
And I made the song called You and I, which now has, 94 million streams. It's my second song I ever made. Put it in the montage, and I tagged it on Twitter. First Fortnite player to use his own song in a video. That was the title. And bro, everyone was using the song after that day. Like the Fortnite streamers that I was watching and looked up to were using my song.
He kept making music with this type of style, and eventually he'd start to build himself a pretty hardcore fan base. A lot of his videos are being used in montages and TikTok videos, which obviously blew up these songs even bigger than they already were. Things were looking pretty up for this guy. I mean, he's already getting all of this attention from his music when all he originally wanted to do was be a Fortnite content creator. However, this was pretty short-lived because now he's throwing it all away. So David recently had his car impounded, and while his car was impounded at a yard, the employees started to notice a horrible smell coming from the back of his car. They alerted the police about the suspicious smell, and when police arrived on the scene, they found none other than the body of a 15-year-old girl.
An investigation into the death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas continues as the LA County Medical Examiner confirms her remains have now been released to her family for memorial services. That could indicate a cause of death has been determined, but that information has not been released. This more than 2 weeks after Rivas's dismembered and decomposing body was found at a tow yard inside a Tesla registered to singer David.
So this girl's name was Celeste Hernandez, and she had been missing since the summer of 2024. So almost an entire year of being labeled as missing. She was found in the trunk wearing leggings, a tube top, and a bracelet. However, the story gets a little more interesting because she had a tattoo on her finger that read, "Shh." Now, you could just say to yourself, that's a pretty weird tattoo to have on yourself, but wait until you hear this. Guess who else has the exact same tattoo on the exact same finger? David. The news broadcast noted during their investigation that the "shh" tattoo was actually how they identified her because the body in the trunk was actually completely dismembered. So after this was all aired out onto the news, the mother of the victim said she was aware of a boyfriend her daughter had named David. So this makes it even worse than we originally thought because now we know that he was possibly in a relationship with an underage girl and potentially went on to end her life. So that's something that's also important to remember is the way she went missing over an entire year ago, which means she could have been anywhere from 13 to 14 years old when they were in a relationship with each other. And if you don't already know, David is 20 years old, so not really looking too good for this guy. But guess what? This somehow gets even worse because David has actually released a music video where he is seen putting a body into the trunk of his car. He even has other music videos that showcase a girl that looks very similar to Celeste. And he actually even mentions her in another song on multiple occasions. Originally, when all this happened, David just continued to perform on his tour, pretty much like nothing had even happened. But more recently, it's come out that he's now working with the police. Now, I don't know whether this means he is cooperating and saying that he was involved, or he's trying to give details as to how the girl might have ended up dead and dismembered in the back of his trunk, and that he's somehow not involved. Either way, this guy came out of nowhere from making Fortnite content to music, blew up, made some absolute bangers, and apparently is now under investigation for the murder and dismembering of his underage girlfriend. Another thing that's crazy when you look at it is his biggest song, which is called Romantic Homicide, was released on the birthday of Celeste. Now, of course, there's a possibility that David was framed because it was said in the news report that this car that was, had the body found in it was actually abandoned 5 days before. It's also weird to think about how David was like on tour when all of this was happening. So I don't really know if they've figured out how long the body was actually decomposing in the back of the trunk. Well, I guess the front of the trunk, it's a Tesla. But I think for like a body to start to smell like absolute ass and for people to be able to smell it from like yards away, it would have to be in there for like a really long time. And I don't know how long this guy's been on tour, but I just don't know if there's a possibility that he actually had a body in this car. Like, it's just weird because Celeste was like his love interest or whatever. They obviously had a relationship together. They have matching tattoos, for fuck's sake. So, I mean, at the bare minimum, I feel like there may have been like a hit on her, to get her killed. I don't know if I would put my interest in saying that David necessarily murdered her, because a lot of people are saying, how could he murder somebody and have the body decomposing when he's not even like near where this happened? This happened in California. I don't have a clue as to where this guy was, but apparently it wasn't in California. That's what everybody's saying. Now, a lot of people have been attacking Jason the Ween, which is a popular Twitch streamer, because in the past they've, created music together. Jason was producing music for him and they have a song together. And I fucking hate the internet nowadays. Like, people make connections so fast when they don't even make sense. Like, I don't know. You just, somebody's name and you're somehow tied to a murder investigation. Like, come on. Jason doesn't leave his fucking house. Okay, he doesn't know. Like, there's no way Jason knew that this guy murdered somebody or was probably even talking to a minor. But whatever. I'm not here to defend Jason. I don't even watch his stuff, but it does seem a little weird that a person goes missing for a year, but David is like seen with her, yet nobody alerted the authorities. The whole thing about him not even being in the state when the body was found is what's throwing everybody off, especially me. Obviously, with like forensic science, they're going to run fingerprints and everything like that. And I honestly think that even if David didn't murder her, my best bet is that he's going to go to jail for, having sex with a minor. But the question of forensics is also into play because this might not even be possible if the body was that decomposed. Because at the end of the day, he was with that girl quite a bit, and, he was 20, she was like 14 or 15, and he references her in many songs and kind of has like the lead role in his music videos as an underage girl, but like, an actor portraying her. So I feel like if they run forensic things and find like his, DNA on her in places it shouldn't be, he's still gonna probably be put in jail. This video's taking me like a few days to edit because, YouTube's not my job or anything, but every time I like click on YouTube, there's more information about this guy, so I apologize if other people's videos have, newer information than mine does. But if I found out more information on this scenario, I will upload a part 2 to this video. So if you're watching this and there's new information out, check my channel. I probably will have another video up within the next few days of an update as to what's going on with this. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're new to the channel and like what you see, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 100 subscribers, so if you're not subscribed, hit that shit down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.